What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Voyage RC. This video is going to serve as a install how-to on the James Barone Racing turbo oil restrictor bolt. If you saw in the clip I played before the intro, you can see the blue smoke coming from the exhaust. Basically, the turbo seals are starting to slightly wear a little bit, and at idle some oil is bypassing the turbo seals and making its way into the exhaust and burning up and smoking on the way out. So the purpose of the restrictor bolt is, as you can see here, to restrict the amount of oil being fed to the turbo. You can see it compared to the stock bolt, how the stock bolt has a much bigger hole and it's got two of them for the oil feed. The restrictor bolt from James Barone Racing is a smaller hole, and it only has one hole as opposed to two. Basically, at idle, it's overfeeding the turbo with the stock bolt, so there's added oil in the turbo to bypass the seals and burn off in the exhaust. So this video is just going to be a how-to on how to install the bolt. So the tools you're going to need for this install is a 8mm socket, a 14mm socket, a 19mm socket, a short extension, a medium extension, and your ratchet. So the first step of the install is going to be to remove the heat shield covering the exhaust manifold and turbo. There's 5 bolts using the 8mm socket. You can remove these. If they're a little tight, you can try using some WD-40 to help loosen them up and free them up. Once these 5 bolts are removed, you can go ahead and remove the heat shield. This will give you access to the exhaust manifold and turbo. You can see the bolt here where I'm pointing with my finger, which is right next to the outlet for the turbo. You're going to want to use the 14mm socket and go ahead and remove that bolt. There's going to be 2 copper washers, one above and one below the oil fitting. You're going to want to remove those. The James Barone Racing bolt comes with new washers, so you're going to use the new washers when you are putting the new bolt in. Little comparison here of the 2 bolts side by side. You can see the difference with the new one. The new bolt from James Barone Racing is going to use the 19mm socket. You're going to want to make sure you get a washer below the fitting and then put 1 washer on the bolt and then feed the bolt down through the fitting and start hand tightening it. Once you have it started, you can tighten it down with the socket. Just try not to over tighten it. You don't want to strip the threads. It doesn't require Hulk strength to tighten these down to seal it down. Once you have it down there, tighten down, you want to run the car, bring it up to operating temp, and obviously check for any leaks of oil around the fitting. If it's dry, you can go ahead and reinstall the 5 bolts on the heat shield, and that's it. And you can go ahead and run the car, bring it up to operating temp again, and check for smoke in the exhaust. It was a cold day when I did this one, so you can see some smoke coming out of it, but that's just moisture. You can see how it doesn't have the blue haze to it, so it's not burning any oil. This isn't a 100% fix, but it does help, and it seemed to help mine very well. I'm not getting puffs of smoke at idle anymore. Seems to not be letting as much, if any, oil through the seals. So anyways, that's the install for the restrictor bolt for the turbo from James Barone Racing. Probably one of the easiest, fastest, most simple mods you can do to your car. Help it run better when your mileage starts coming up and the stock KO4 turbo starts going. Typical thing with the Mazdas, speed 6, speed 3, turbo seals just tend to go bad. My car's got about 76,000 miles on it, so Anyways, thanks for watching, subscribe if you haven't already, and stay tuned for more.